I'm joined by breakthrough specialist Amadeus. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Amazing. Yeah, I think you did it in a great way. I'm a breakthrough specialist. I work with mental blocks, basically. But mental blocks, energetic blocks, and just to remove the resistance in your business, health, wealth. Yeah. That's what I do.
And like, how did you get into this space of work? Because I know you did trading before. So how did you make that pivot?
Yeah, I think the work has always been with me since I was a kid. I would always question people. I would always ask them questions like, is this really true? Is this really what you think is the reality of the situation? But more and more, I start to understand that I had a skill for seeing these blocks inside of people. Even if I couldn't see it in myself, I could see it in other people that, oh no, I can see your potential. I have a really good view of people's potential. I can really see it when I look at the person. And it was kind of annoying for me to see it in everyone, and I couldn't do anything about it because people didn't really want the support, or so to speak. But then I realized I had a skill of making people take action in a way that felt easy for them. So yeah, it was just a really natural thing. And then I collected some tools on the way, and I started working with people, and I realized that, okay, this area of mental blocks, of limiting beliefs, is something that I'm really good at. And once I've started remove those beliefs or blocks within myself, that's when I could really step into that kind of business.
Yeah, you could like relate it to your life first and then help other people through that.
Yeah, exactly. It was more like I became the leader of it and showed other people that, okay, look at me. Now I want to show you how you can do it yourself.
Yeah, that's so nice. And I think it's such a nice gift to see other people's potential, even if they don't see it themselves. What are some common blocks, probably just blocks in general, that people face that is like holding them back?
Yeah, one of the absolute biggest one is not feeling like you're good enough.
Yeah.
Not feeling like you're good enough for a relationship or a business, or that you can't do it because you're not like this other person that you try to put on a pedestal. But once you realize that this is true, like, what is good enough? What is actually good enough? Good enough or not good enough is something that you've decided.
Yeah.
And that probably comes from what your parents told you, what TV told you, what just the world around your environment has told you. Just like a really simple example is that if you go to, for example, an Indonesian local, and a salary of $200, $300 is considered a good salary. But if you go to Europe, then a good salary is nothing under $3,000.
Yeah.
And what is difference between these people? Is one better than the other? No, it's just about their internal programming. So they believe that this is good or this is good. So you decide yourself, or not you, but now you can decide yourself if you change it intentionally. When you realize you can change your beliefs, then you can create new, how do you say, measurements of what is good enough or not good enough.
Yeah.
So then you can decide.
And I think now with, social media, nowadays we have so much comparison to look at. And we're like, okay, I see this person in Australia. I want to go there. Maybe I can't go there. Maybe I won't make it there. Or like, I want to post on Instagram, but maybe people are going to laugh at me and all these things. And I think it takes you away from like how you actually feel internally. It takes you away from what your perception of yourself is, How do you think? I think that feeds into like self-concept and like self-image. Like, how do you think your self-image affects how you then show up? Because I know you spoke about like not being good enough. So like all those blocks, like what would that feed into? Do you think if you have like more of a negative self-image, how would that impact your life?
Oh, in every way. I think self-confidence is literally the biggest determinator of success in any area, of a relationship, in business, in anything, in health. If you have confidence within yourself that things are going to be perfect, that you're going to figure it out, that means you will also allow yourself to fail. It will make you allow yourself to be not perfect, and it will allow yourself to just go forward. But I think this comparison, just like you say, is that you're seeing some amazing creator, amazing business people online, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not like them.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not going to start.
Yeah, that's so true. And instead of using it as like fuel for inspiration, we then tear ourselves down and we're like, okay, well, they have this, I don't have that, so therefore I can't do that. Whereas like, you know, I know for me and my sister, before we moved here, we seen like influencers live here and we were like, okay, that's fun. Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, but I know a lot of people, and obviously we all have our blocks, but I know a lot of people would see people in a position that they want to be in, and instead of trying, they just instantly pull themselves down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but that you have a beautiful internal story that you've gotten from your environment or from your sister or yourself, that you created, that, okay, I see this person and that inspires me. That means if this person can do it, that means I can do it. For other people, it's like, if I see this person, that means they're better than me. Depending on your internal story is the way you're going to perceive whatever comparison or anything that you see online. Either it's going to validate for you that you can do it, or it's going to validate that you suck.
Yeah.
That's like, that's it.
Yeah, and these stories, like we mentioned a few minutes ago, they're not ours. They're not our stories. Like, we've picked them up. We're like sponges, you know? So do you believe that it does come from when we're children, or do you believe that like it continues to happen throughout our life?
I think it starts, of course, between 0 and 7 years old, you spend 80% of your time in theta, which is a brainwave, is basically a hypnotic state.
Yeah.
And when you're in this hypnotic state, you take on every idea. You're super open to new suggestions. So if you tell a kid when they're 5 years old that Santa is real, they are going to believe it until they are in an experience that shows them that, okay, Santa is not real.
Yeah.
But if they never go into that experience, they will always believe that that is true. So whatever they, like the parents show them as a kid, they will take on until an experience shows them otherwise. And if that experience or that belief that they get told is like, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, money is evil, money is this or that, all that they're going to do is experience a life where that is a truth. And that's where I feel like people moving to a different country, why we want to do that is because it will completely break your mind. Because you will have new experiences with new people and new beliefs, and now you're going to start questioning yourself. And I think that is about finding yourself, is more about understanding that these are not real. These are not, just like you said, these are not your stories.
Yeah.
These are picked up from everywhere.
Yeah, it's like before you travel, or say if you just live in like a small village, and that's where like village mentality comes from. So say like all of your friends think one way, all of your family think one way. You're like, okay, I just think this way. Or if you kind of start questioning things, maybe you then start to doubt yourself because of all the people around you are thinking a certain way. You know, you become the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So I think when you break out of that, like you said, you see that there's actually so many truths depending on what you look at.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I think that's really important to travel.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, just like you said, there's so many truths. I would even go one step further and say there's no truth.
Yeah, wow. What do you mean by
There's no truth.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so let's say you're in a room, there's 10 people around, and you say, okay, what is hard work? What does hard work mean? And everyone will have their own perception of what hard work means. One will say, okay, I have to work this many hours, or I have to make this much money, I have to make this much output, whatever that means. But none of these are necessarily truths.
It's just their choosing.
There's just their own truth. That's their truth based on maybe not even what they think, but that's the way I try to see things, is that either you can look at it like there's always two truths to one situation, there's always two truths to one experience. Or you can just think that, okay, there is no truth, so which truth is it that I choose?
Yeah, you create that.
You create the truth.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, you know I have friends out here who work incredibly hard and like are always kind of breaking their back trying to do things. And then I also have friends who still work hard, but they don't have that same belief that, okay, I need to literally break my back in order to get what I want. And they just have things flow to them. It's just like they're magnets.
Yeah.
So do you believe that whatever we think, then we will attract?
100%. Whatever you can make yourself believe to be true is the reality you're going to experience. If you can make yourself believe, we've been talking about this, for example, in your breakthrough sessions. If you can make yourself believe that, okay, let's just say now you're making one Instagram reel per day, you're a creator, and you don't want to do that. In reality, what you want to do is create one YouTube video per week, because that takes less time, it's less energy, it's more fun for you, for example. All you need to do in order to make that work is for you to believe that it can work. So what I like to do then is, okay, this is the belief that I want to have. It's like 1 YouTube video a week will make me successful in my business. Okay. And if you go out and you talk to people, they're going to say, no, that's not possible. You got to make these reels. You got to make that thing. But I truly believe if you can make yourself believe that, and the way you do it is by finding people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then you can ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do in order to support this belief then? It's like, all right, maybe I need to learn a little bit more about storytelling, a little bit more about making thumbnails and this and that. And then you ask yourself again, once you've found those skills, you say, okay, do I believe that this is the truth? Do I believe that this is going to work? And then you say yes. And if that's okay, and then you just do that, then you're going to feel good because your belief says, if I do this, I'm going to be successful. Instead of pushing yourself and just forcing and disciplining yourself, doing this thing that you don't really want to do, you instead create a more healthy and supportive belief, which I just know, I see it everywhere now, that if you can make that belief your reality, that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah.
People are going to come in through weird ways, clients are going to come in, opportunities are going to come in, but you just need to believe it.
Yeah. Because you could be following, I know in our world anyway, like the creative world and like the business world, we can be following other people's strategies, like the strategies laid out for us by other people. Like, okay, it took me 1,000 posts to go viral. Then you take their word as literally and you're like, okay, well, it's going to take me 1,000 posts to go viral.
Yeah.
But instead of actually questioning, wait, is this something I believe? You will continue to do that and it mightn't be aligning with you. So if you are somebody who tends to take on the beliefs of others and not actually question them, how do you get into the mode of questioning for yourself and seeing like, is this true in my body?
Yeah, I think there's 3 parts to this. One is always look at it, okay, do I want to do this? Is this actually exciting for me? Because if not, it's going to burn you out.
Yeah.
Anything that's not fun or exciting for you that you don't really enjoy, it's just going to burn you out. And then you're going to call it discipline. Like that's what I worry every time. But if you actually want to do it, I would say visualization is a really good thing. So instead of visualizing yourself, seeing the worst case scenarios happening all the time, you sit down, you take a big breath in, you relax your body, and then you visualize the most amazing thing happens. Clients coming in from really weird ways, your videos getting viral. And then the way happens for me is just that I can see new opportunities, new ways of doing this, creative ways. But yeah, and then the third thing that you just mentioned is that I think every strategy works. Like you can always find an expert in Reels, you can find an expert in email marketing, you can find an expert who does art without anyone, but they still sell this thing.
Yeah, and you see testimonials and it works for some people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It works. So you just got to find, I say instead, find the thing that you like and enjoy doing and then just make it work.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to use visualization. So I visualize the end result and then I can see how I got there basically.
Yeah, the path to that.
Yeah.
Because your brain does not know the difference between a real and an imagined event. And I think it's more accepted now, like visualization and the term visualization, and people are really starting to like trust it and believe it.
Yeah.
You know, it's been used for so long in people who are in Olympic sports and it's actually a real thing. So it's not just for, you know, massive goals. You can use it in your day-to-day life as well.
100%.
Is that something you would like use every day?
I try to use it every day.
Yeah.
But I don't, honestly.
Yeah.
But I would, yeah. Every time I have something that's big, the way I learned hypnosis through visualization, when I was gonna act on stage, or not act on stage, but have public speaking, I visualized it. Every time I'm gonna have a real meeting, every time I'm gonna have a breakthrough sessions, I always visualize the session.
Wow.
And I visualized afterwards to how good it felt, how good it was, and how happy the client is.
How you want to feel, like the positive of it. Because I know a lot of us that don't even know that we're doing it, we can visualize the negative side of things. Like, oh my God, I have to go on stage and I'm going to mess up. Or I have a presentation in work and I'm in front of 10 people and I don't have a clue what I'm going to say. And then that actually happens. Whereas like they don't visualize the point after that, which I know we had a conversation like 2 weeks ago and you said to me that you visualized your talk that you did and you even visualized the part of freezing on stage, which was like, I was like, wow, like you actually do that. You do visualize the point of worst case scenario and then how to get out of that.
Yeah.
Which I found like super interesting.
It is so interesting because then you can turn that worst case scenario into the best case scenario.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I did on the stage. I visualized. So I was sitting for probably 5 days every night, and I was visualizing this thing in every way it could be, not having any expectations on like what I wanted to visualize, but I was just thinking about standing on stage and seeing myself go through it, seeing people smile, seeing people do that. And then I realized that, okay, I can feel my mind now going to the worst case scenario, which is me freezing,
Yeah.
not being able to say anything. And then what I do then, because this is something we did in trading before. So I visualize the worst case scenario. I feel the pain, feel the fear, feel everything, every emotion. And then I take a big breath in. And then I see this situation turning into the best case scenario. And in this case, which I used in reality because I remembered it from the visualization, was, hey, depending on my beliefs, I can decide that this freeze is a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I started to explain to them how beliefs create your reality. And I said, my belief is that this freeze is an opportunity for me to think, to restore myself, my body, my thinking, and then I can continue the speech. But if I was scared that this was going to happen, and my belief was, if I freeze, it's over, then this was not going to be a good speech for you. So that's what I said, and it turned into something really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so useful. I think anybody that is listening or watching should definitely try it if they haven't already. But like I've said to you previously, like that's the reason I'm here. And when I did my driving test back in Ireland, the night before, I literally sat in the bath. I got so calm, and I just visualized me passing the test, and I passed the test first time. You know, so you can use it for literally anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just something specific or like something really big that you think is completely out of reach. You can use it for like every day.
Yeah, I love that. It's really what you're doing is you're priming your nervous system. So you're making it feel normal to be in that winning situation. So you're making it feel not overwhelming or not scary. So that's what you want. Because if you're not scared in a meeting or during or a driving test, if you're not scared, it's super easy, isn't it?
Yeah, everything just flows.
Because you already know it. You already know what to say. You already know what to do. And if you're not scared, you're not getting this anxiety, then it's okay.
Yeah.
And if you visualize, that's what happens. You make it feel normal. Because if you experience it in your mind, what you said, you don't know the difference between real and visualize. And I think this is the another thing, which is why I think self-hypnosis and visualization is really cool, is because what you said, that you become your environment, right? You become your 5 closest friends. That's like your income, that's your happiness, everything. But that's the interesting thing about visualization, is that you can visualize a completely different reality. So even if you have this environment, even if you're at a place where you don't want to be, you can still experience life in a completely different reality. And that experience will change your beliefs and make you believe that you can get there.
Yeah, you create them feelings within you now.
Exactly.
You don't wait for it to happen. It's like they talk about, you know, cause and effect. So you're waiting for the cause to happen that's going to give you the effect, but you can actually reverse it and then say, like, give you those feelings now, which will then cause the effect.
Oh, that's cool.
Know?
I love that.
Yeah, it's something like I think Joe Dispenza says
a
lot, which is, it's really valuable. Instead of waiting for the external, you create it yourself, and then it attracts the external.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're like magnets. You know, so like how does visualization feed into like hypnosis or self-hypnosis? So just talk me through like hypnosis in general.
So hypnosis in general. So first of all, we need to understand that we're being hypnotized all the time.
Yeah.
Right now, we're having a conversation. You're hypnotizing me, I'm hypnotizing you.
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is just we're expressing our beliefs. And every time I say something, your mind is questioning, okay, do I believe in this or do I not believe in this? It's trying to make sense of what I'm saying.
Accept or reject.
Yeah, accept or reject. And if you accept that, then I mean, I've successfully hypnotized you. I've expressed my beliefs onto you and you changed your beliefs. Now I hypnotized you. So every time when you're with a person, when you're listening to news, music, absolutely anything, you're being hypnotized. But then what hypnosis really is it's a state. It's a brainwave state. It's called theta brainwaves. And this is, I would say, it's like a relaxed but focused state.
Yeah.
And every time you wake up, you're in this drowsy, relaxed but focused state. You know what's going on, but you're not really thinking about what's going on.
Yeah.
So this is basically when your logical mind is shut off and your subconscious mind is just working. And in these states, you can suggest things. You can suggest new beliefs. If you were waking up right now and I would tell you things, I would tell you, so express some of my beliefs, it would be much, much easier for you to take them on as a truth and change your beliefs. So what we do in hypnosis is we put you in this state where you are very accepting of new beliefs. And then we suggest new ideas. We tell you new beliefs. We make you experience a new reality. And then from that experience, you can change your beliefs.
Yeah, yeah. We're accessing like the subconscious mind, which is not always easy to do if you're not in that theta brainwave state, you know, like say with things like talk therapy, that's very like accessing your conscious mind. So that's where we're like, no, or you can like talk yourself out of things. You're like, I know I feel like shit deep down inside, and I know I keep rejecting all these opportunities, but I'm just going to talk myself out of it because you're not letting yourself access that state, you know. But I think, you know, I've done a hypnosis session with you and it is so powerful. I've done therapy and I've done hypnosis, and for me personally, I think hypnosis is like works wonders.
Yeah.
Because you're really getting deep into somebody's mind, and not deep in a way like let me imprint all my beliefs, but it's undoing the maybe negative stories you've told yourself.
Yeah, you're much better at explaining.
Yeah, no, you're so good at explaining as well. You're so good, but that's why it's also so important that you mentioned in the morning we're in that theta brainwave state. That's why it's so important we don't reach for our phones.
100%. Yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, it's so damaging. Like you like wake up and then you see about war, or you see, I don't know, maybe someone that's living a life that you really want, and if you've seen that throughout the day, you might use that as inspiration. But if you see it too early, you're probably like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
You know? So that's so interesting.
Yeah, that's so funny to say that. Yeah, I mean, that's a classical thing from the old times. Like, oh, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed?
Yeah.
It's because in the morning, that sets the tone for your entire day.
Yeah, it does. It's like, you know, the classic thing, like you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you burn your toast, you stub your toe,
oh, yeah.
you're late for the bus. It's like, it sets the tone for the day. You're like, start the day on like a negative vibration, and then you just keep attracting. But say if somebody right now is waking up and they're like, that's me every day, like how would you suggest that somebody like that at least start to shift into like a more positive, like, you know, positive start to the day or start to their life if they want to change?
I guess the most simple thing is just what you said. Just remove your phone.
Yeah.
That's a simple start. But then a practice in the morning, even if it doesn't, if it sounds weird or bad, or you don't really want to do it. So I think we also need to understand why we want to feel bad in the morning, because I think most people understand that the phone makes them feel bad. I don't think
we're not stupid.
I think most people do. So I think we need to start asking, it's like, why do I enjoy this? Why do I feel this pain and this? What is it about my life or myself that I don't enjoy?
Yeah.
Why do I want to feel like this? Why am one part of me enjoying feeling bad in the morning?
Staying stuck in that pain.
Yeah, staying stuck in the pain. It's probably protecting you from something. It's keeping you safe, comfortable. Maybe that if you would be happy in this, that will mean that you will have to take this step, which is not comfortable at all. I don't know what it is. Yeah. But a lot of this, a lot is self-suffering. We create it ourselves.
Self-sabotage, yeah.
Self-sabotage. We don't feel like we're worthy of feeling good all the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe we don't even believe that we can. Maybe someone told you that, oh no, you're not meant to feel good. I know I'm meant to be the happiest man on earth. It's
too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, there's nothing too good to be true. Yeah. Your beliefs set that tone.
Yeah, it's so true. I think it's something we're told when we're younger. You know, if you're like giddy when you're a child, or you're laughing and joking, and your parents mightn't mean it, but they'll be like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
And then like that, it's like, okay, well, I can only be happy for so long. Or, you know, I think I've heard you mention before, a lot of people have an upper limit problem. So like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, upper limit problem is something I've read from Gay Hendricks, and he just studied his whole life about this thing called the upper limit. And he said this upper limit problem is the only problem that you need to fix in your entire life.
Yeah.
And what it's essentially is the amount of happiness or success that you can allow yourself to have before you start self-sabotaging. How much are you feeling okay with receiving?
Yeah.
And what he said is that you can actually feel happiness all the time if you want to. It's possible. And you can be successful all the time, and you can have as much success or happiness as you want. And this is interesting. A lot of people, they will have like a really, really good day.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that day, they will maybe eat candy, or they'll masturbate, or they'll do something that just brings them down. And it's not really that, yeah, I had a good day, so I'm going to celebrate this day. No, it's actually, I had a really good day. I feel really happy. And now I don't feel comfortable in this. So they bring themselves down. So what we say is this ceiling is you push through the ceiling with the happiness or the success. That could be a promotion, it could be something really good happening, and then you pull yourself down under this ceiling because you feel like you don't feel safe with having this success or this happiness.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're waiting for something bad to happen as soon as something good happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't feel worthy of it, you don't feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And that is something, it's of course, it's about the nervous system. But that's also what we need to understand, that we can, if we change our beliefs. If we believe that I can be happy all the time, well, you can.
Yeah.
It's 100% true.
And you rewrite that story, like that is 100% true. And I think it's funny that you said when we feel a lot of success or we feel happiness, whatever it might be, we then do something that we know on another level is going to sabotage us. And I think for a lot of people, this might be a controversial take, but isn't it funny how we celebrate things with alcohol?
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
It's funny
actually.
we celebrate things with alcohol.
Yeah.
Because I know in the past anyways, like if I was feeling good, or like if I had a graduation or whatever it might be, it's a really exciting time of your life, and then you just go and drink 10 cocktails or 6 cocktails or whatever it might
10.
be. Yeah, maybe not 10. But you know, you get drunk and you know that that's going to make you feel not good. It could be a form of like self-sabotage that people do that they're not even aware of.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And what you're also doing then is that you're associating pain, like hangover,
that's it.
and drinking with your success.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting thought. I haven't even thought about that.
So like, what do you mean by that? You're associating pain with your hangover, or success with your hangover?
So a super simple example of this is, if you're a kid and you can see let's say your grandmother always cooks pancakes for you, okay? And every time she comes to your house, she cooks pancakes for you, and you've absolutely enjoyed this experience. It's like really happy, really good. So every time you see your grandmother, you associate her with pancakes and making pancakes and you enjoying this experience. So you have a really positive association to this person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same thing if you have your granddad and he's always screaming at you, and every time you meet him as a kid, you don't think the logical thoughts, but you think emotionally. You associate him with pain. You associate him with negative thoughts, and it's the same thing with everything that we do. If we have a negative emotion attached to anything, that's what when we look back at it, our subconscious mind thinks, oh, that was not positive at all.
So do you work with mostly creators? Do you work with people who want to go further in their business? Like, just talk me through.
Yeah, mostly it's 2 types of creators. Either the people who are at the start of their journey. In creation, I mean like launching product, launching your soul-led business, your brand, anything that could be. You're a creator, you create, okay? So it's either in the start of the journey or it's in the middle of their journey and they feel stuck. They feel like, okay, I want to take this next step, but I feel like I can't. It's something, I feel like some resistance to my work, or maybe you're not loving your work anymore.
Yeah.
There's something, like when we talked about it, was like, you're not in the start. You're here, you're already making money, already having clients, but you feel stuck. You feel like the next step feels far away.
Out of alignment.
Out of alignment, yeah, so that's what we do. And the most simple one is just not feeling good enough.
Yeah.
Which is the most bullshit lie we tell ourselves.
Yeah, and that feeds into everything. I think it's funny how we could have a business problem, or, you know, we want to create something, but we're not at that place yet. But then that also feeds into our relationships and the relationships we attract. And it's not a business problem or a relationship problem. It's like coming from the same root. It's like a you problem or your belief problem. You know what I mean? It's not actually related to just business. Because I'm sure if somebody has a belief of not being good enough, I'm sure that doesn't just affect their business. Is that something you've realized in working with people?
It's everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
100%. It's always more than just a business.
Yeah.
It's always on the other side. But also if you fix that one thing, you fix all of it, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But you have the good, not good enough, but you also have a lot of scared of the success because what it will bring to you. For example, if you get more successful, you get more clients, you get more products, that means maybe for a lot of people they feel like, oh, that's more responsibility, that's a less freedom. So a lot of the times we try to push this and we also push the brake at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you're saying there with the not good enough, not feeling good enough in your business obviously makes you feel not good enough in your relationship.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I know even for me, if I've like, that's been a common theme in my life growing up where that was something I struggled with. And that's why I help clients through that as well in another way. But I'd notice I'd attract partners who weren't good for me. I would just accept opportunities in business that were shit.
Yeah.
And I just let myself be treated like shit. So it wasn't just a relationship problem that I was having. It was like a whole life problem.
Yeah.
You know, but it's funny how it like feeds into absolutely everything. So that's why it's so important to like catch them. And I know you say like self-hypnosis, like, is that something people can do on their own? I'm guessing it's self-hypnosis.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. How do they go about doing that? Would that be visualization?
Yeah, well, before we go that, something that's really interesting what you said with not good enough.
Yeah.
Like we're always good enough for what we choose.
Yeah.
Like you're good enough. You said that, okay, I didn't feel good enough, but actually you felt good enough for these bad relationships, for these bad experiences. So you decide what you feel good enough for. But I also want to talk a little bit more about that because of course it's 100% fake. You're a human. How can you be different from anyone else? Like who decides who's good enough and who's not good? Obviously, like, okay, it's interesting.
Yeah, like you accept the love and stuff you think you deserve. You know what I mean? So it's like you're accepting all this stuff. And then I think as soon as it goes beyond whatever it might be in business and relationships, as soon as it goes beyond how negatively you're treating yourself, that's when you'll walk away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting because that's self-worth, you decide. It's the same thing with like, okay, what do you put your pricing as a business? Okay, do you put it at $50 an hour, $250 an hour, $10,000 an hour? You decide what you're worth. So if you can increase your self-worth, that means you can increase your worth as a business, as someone providing services, for example. And it's just really interesting because there's not really any difference between the person doing the $50 work and the $10,000 work more than what they think that they are worth.
It's their self-concept.
Yeah, there's self-concept, there's self-confidence, basically. Self-confidence is just that I am good enough. But again, good enough for what? There's nothing there.
Yeah.
If you look behind that wall, there's nothing. And it's just a self-created thing.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy at the end of the day. Yeah, it can be like kind of confusing, but it's also interesting. Because I think the more you're like, okay, it's just bullshit, I create that, I create my reality, I create my story, then you can change it for the better if you're not happy with where you are.
Yeah.
So I think although it can be confusing, it's also very good to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's just take this example with the pricing. Okay, yeah, we can talk about this. We can talk about, yeah, you are good enough. You'll understand that. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm good enough. Now what? Then the easiest thing you can do is just literally sit down. And my friend, she gave me this idea and she said, okay, first of all, think about what you want to charge. It's like, okay, let's say you're charging $100 now for 1 hour, okay? Then think about what you want to charge. It's like, okay, I want to charge $150. And then feel what you want to charge. Like if you're in your heart, your truest desire, what do you want to charge? It's like, all right, yeah, I would love to charge $250 for an hour. And then you think, all right, but what if there were no limit? What if you could completely decide this is the sum? And then you ask yourself that, and then maybe that is $2,000 for an hour.
Wow.
But then again, now this is where you can start thinking. It's like, all right, what would make me believe that I can charge $2,000?
Yeah.
And this is where the more fun part comes in. This is where you actually start having a direction to what you're doing. You're being intentional. Again, now you can start visualizing. Now you can start hypnotizing yourself to become that $2,000 per hour person. And I think that is where the power is. Like, yes, we can talk about it. We can make everyone confused that they're not good enough. But if you just really start by sitting inside, okay, what's the direction I'm going into? What's the end goal?
Like, what do you want for your life?
What do you want?
That's it.
And not what anyone else wants, what you think or what you... Nah,
what
fuck
do
that.
you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, what lights you up?
Yeah, what lights you up, what makes you fucking exciting, makes your balls tingle.
Yeah. Can you talk me through briefly a little bit of like self-hypnosis?
Yeah. So self-hypnosis, the way I do it every day. I do it right before this podcast. I did it in the morning. I did it before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
So there's two parts to it. You can use it for changing your beliefs over a longer period of time. It's like a long-term investment in yourself. And then the second part is to be able to change your emotional state at any time. So if you have a client, if you have anything, a podcast, anything, you can change your emotional state. And I had a client and he was like, oh, how can you be so excited every time I meet you? I'm like,
Everyone says that.
I'm not. I just hypnotize myself. That's what I do. So every time I meet someone, they're like, yeah, but they don't understand that I've been hypnotized
Like,
myself.
how can you be so happy all the time? Like, yeah.
Yeah. But of course, that's also about the beliefs. It's like, okay, what makes me happy? For me, what makes me happy is like waking up. If I'm waking up, I have my freedom and I'm working on something that I love, I'm happy. Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's probably where it comes to values. Like, what people are valuing is like superficial stuff rather than something that actually is aligned with them. And like, see, let's say like waking up, like everybody, if you're lucky, gets the pleasure of waking up every day, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we can just overlook like the simple things in life, and then, like I said, with social media and stuff like that, we just drag ourselves back down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you're so right.
So yeah.
But again, it's also funny that like, yeah, the superficial things can also be really fun for a season.
Yeah, they can.
I was chasing money for a couple of years and it was really fun, and
it's part of your story.
I enjoyed it. It's part of my story.
Yeah.
But once you realize that, oh shit, this didn't actually fill my soul. This didn't actually fill my heart. Then you're like, all right, whatever. I have to create some other way of feeling happy.
Yeah. You always hear people, I don't know, Stephen Bartlett says that, a lot of other like people that have became like millionaires, they're like, okay, as soon as I hit this million, like I'm going to be so happy and I'm going to be so proud. And they are, but then they say they go back to having problems again.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing that sucks the most is just like when you start realizing that. I realized that when I was like 21 and I was making much more money than everyone around me.
Yeah.
When I realized it, it was like, fuck. The driver is like, because I was just pushing. I couldn't really, even on my own birthday parties, I wouldn't even sit. I wanted to leave because I couldn't be there because I felt like I need to be chasing money. I could be doing more. Always discipline forcing. But when you realize it, it's like, oh, fuck. Like, this can't drive me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this thing can't drive me anymore because now I can't even think that it's going to make me happy. So why am I doing it? And that's when you realize, you're like, oh yeah, I probably need some meaning in my life. I probably need to do something that I enjoy instead.
Yeah.
And
So like if somebody is listening and they're like, oh my God, every single day I tick off my to-do list and by the end of the day I'm like, I could be doing more. Is that something you would say to them, have more meaning in your life then? Or how would they get around always feeling like they could be doing more?
Yeah, first of all, it comes from a place of not feeling good enough.
Yeah, again.
It's always, it's again. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm doing this to prove myself that I'm good enough. I'm earning this money to prove that I'm good enough. You're not coming from a place of abundance at all. You're creating from lack. You're creating from, I'm not good enough. And if I get this thing, I'm going to be good enough.
Yeah.
And every time you don't measure up to that thing, you're going to feel really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Like placing your worth externally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something we all do. And I think that's always going to leave you feeling empty, because whether you place it on a partner, whether you place it on a job opportunity, and that falls true, because all we can do in this life is fully rely on ourselves, then you will never fully feel satisfied with the life you're in.
Yeah,
if you're 100%. Always just relying on the external. And that's like something you said to me a few weeks ago, like that's placing stuff external instead of like looking internally and like appreciating what you like about yourself. you know, what you value
Yeah.
about yourself. So that's like really important to know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. It was, I don't know how long time ago, maybe a year. I was completely broke, like
Wow.
not a dollar in my bank account, and I was trying to get credit, and it was like, fuck, I can't even get credit. They were like, your stuff is not,
No.
yeah, they're like, nah.
You're not going to pay it back.
And yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I was completely broke, and I had $0 in my bank account. I was still happy.
Wow.
And I didn't feel the stress because I realized that, oh shit, okay, first of all, I will survive this too. Like it's okay, I will survive somehow. It will work. But what I realized is that if you don't put your self-worth in the money, it's not, you don't have to be scared of having these periods in your life that like the money goes down or the money goes up or the market goes up, the market goes down. Is that you are fully with yourself saying that I am like, it's enough, like it's already perfect. And then you sit there and you're like, all right, I have $0 in my bank account. Instead of judging yourself that, fuck, I could have done this, if I should have done that, I should have done this, you just like, all right, that didn't work. What's next? What do I want to do now?
Yeah.
And it's not saying what do I need to do. It's like what I want to do.
Yeah, it comes back to gratitude then.
Yeah.
It? And like it's funny, I'm reading a book called The Magic, and it was like a quote in the book, and it was like, he who has will get more. He who does not have will get stuff taken. And you're like, wait, that's not fair. But then if you replace like has with like gratitude, like he who has gratitude will have more. He who does not have gratitude will get stuff taken from them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in all the ancient texts, like gratitude, and this is what you're mentioning, like is the key to everything.
Yeah, and what you're saying now is the most genius thing ever.
Yeah.
Because what you're also saying is, okay, he who has and he who hasn't, it's all about in the way you perceive what you have.
Yeah.
It's not about having or not having, it's about what you think you have or not have.
Yeah.
And if you can put yourself like literally with no money in a bank account and you can feel that, it's perfect. Like this time, this situation, situation is absolutely perfect, and I don't feel any grudge towards myself. I just feel gratitude for being alive. For existing.
Yeah.
Then all the other stuff is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to create from lack. You're always going to create from abundance, from always having enough. You're never going to show up on a video and trying to, force people into buying your stuff. Your energy is going to be good, and you don't have to be this weird energy.
Yeah, I get that.
And I feel like that's the biggest power that you can have, and I feel like I have now, is that I know I'm always going to be okay.
Yeah, you're not coming from lack, and like that's so true. We see this living here. Like Bali is like Indonesia is a third world country in Bali, and like the people here have such simple lives, but they appear so happy. And there is people out there that, like, if it was so true that money gave you happiness, like the richest people in the world would be the happiest people, and we know that is not the case. So it's just
we don't know. Sorry.
True, but it's like that is true, but it's like it's just being grateful for what you have. Like if you are rich, be grateful for that. If you are, whatever rich means to you, that's where perception comes in. Like what is rich to you?
Yeah.
So it's like being grateful for what you have, and you're still allowed to want more, but it's still like being okay with not having.
Yeah.
As well.
Absolutely.
Is great.
And I love that too, though, that with money, when I get money now, I'm so much more appreciative of it.
Yeah.
And when I have millions and hundreds of millions in my bank account in the future, I'm going to be as happy about it.
Yeah.
It's going to be coming from a place of abundance instead of like when I had money before, it was lack, it was scarce, it was this weird energy. And now I'm like, I just want it. I enjoy it. I enjoy a luxury life. I like comfort. I love going to nice places, eating good food, living in nice villas. I love that.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. The difference between, these people are happy, but they don't want more.
Yeah.
The desire is not there. So the difference between that is just create a good desire, work on it, make yourself believe that this could be possible, and then just go towards that by doing what you feel like is exciting, and then everything else is just going to take care of itself.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I really like that. Taking from that, where can people find you?
Instagram, Amadeus person. That's it. That's all. Or YouTube, same thing. More to life. And And the way I work with people mostly right now is just through breakthrough sessions. It's a 90-minute session.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Really great. Yeah.
It's extremely, I'm so grateful for being able to do it. And the breakthroughs that we're having are absolutely crazy. So if you want to see more of that, go on my Instagram. And yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I done a breakthrough session with you, what was it, 2 weeks ago, and it was honestly amazing. So I can vouch. So yeah, thank you so much. You were my first guest, and yeah, I really enjoyed this podcast. Thank you.
Oh, thank you too.